Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the D-Art Mega Man X Black Zero. Quick look at the packaging if you are interested. That's the side flap or panel, just another side profile of the character just like all the other ones. There's another one on that side, pretty cool. Then on the back we just get a little preview. There's no see-through part on the back of this one. You can just see him standing there, hero pose type of thing, and then the cool sword. And then up here it talks about the different faces that are included, and you'll notice that we get a new face with this version. It's really the only change between this one and the old Zero. Check out that review if you haven't seen it. It's basically the exact same figure, just repainted. I was told that, or I read somewhere that it has improvements in the hair and in the hands. Neither of which is true as far as I can tell. So let's take a look at the guy though. He stands, let's go inches. He stands just about 5.5 inches tall to the tippity top of his little helmet ear Wolverine things, and he is just a really nice looking figure. There's nice composition to this guy. Of course, that's mostly due to the fact that the character design is good, but the figure does look good for what it's supposed to be. They did a good job with the execution, so I'm pretty happy about that. And before we do the accessories, because I don't want to do those quite yet, I just want to point out, let's look at the different ones since I threw that on the floor, that the sword effects, the sword parts, this one and this one, are absolutely gorgeous. They're amazingly well done. So that really adds to this guy over the original Red release. Alright, so as you can tell, he does have a lot of painted detail and all of the sculpted detail that he should have, and he looks pretty darn good. I'm pretty pleased with this guy overall. He's got the nice gunmetal, which isn't technically gunmetal, but the metallic black for the Buster and the other Buster when those are interchangeable. I'll mention that now. He can swap out the gun arm for either side, or the Buster arm. So that's technically not a Buster, I should clarify. That's just the forearm. But either way, he can swap those out. And so the black part's really nice. It's the same for the boots and for the chest and the outline of the shoulders and the ears. So all of the black parts are that really nice metallic black. Looks great. And then you can see the silver parts, which are on the Buster and on the forearms and on the hips. Really nice silver. It's super shiny, super bright. Obviously it's not chrome, so it's not reflective or anything like that, but it is really nice and bright and smooth looking, so that's really good. The hands and the knee pads and the crotch piece and the head all have this pearly kind of white. It's really pearly though, so it's nice, and it's not really metallic and it's not really shiny, but it is, the best thing I can say is it's pearlescent, and I think that's probably the most accurate you could get, but it looks really, really cool. It's very nicely done. The only part of the white that isn't that way is the shoulder pads, or are the shoulder pads. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be or not. It looks like they were painted to look like it, but they're not quite the exact same. It's not horrible. It's not something it'll stand out as soon as you look at the figure, but it is worth mentioning. The detail in the paintwork is nice. We don't really see too much bleeding or anything like that. You can see all the lines are fairly clean. The logo up there on his shoulder pad is well done. The hair, it's this weird taupe color, which is accurate, and it has kind of like a silver airbrush to it. The shading it doesn't seem to be anything particular. It's just kind of all over the place. But it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look great. It's nothing, I mean, it's not really worth noticing either way, I guess. I don't know how else to say that. It's just there. It's not good or bad. Again, the detail work is really nice. He's got the gem on the Buster. That's painted, not a gem there. His ears are actual gems. The boobies, I know they're not boobies, the chest things are gems, and the ankle things and the foot things are gems. And the Buster hole is an orange one. That is replaceable. We'll just do the accessory here. So that comes out, and there's a tab hole or a groove, whatever you want to call it, right there. So that just pops out. This one pops in. You have the same little groove in there to pull it out, and that is open so that you can use one of the blast effects from one of the other figures. He does not come with one, which is a little disappointing, but they give you the interchangeable Buster front so that you can do that if you want to. So that's pretty cool. And it does snap in there pretty nicely, nice and seamless other than that little tab hole, so that's pretty good. Okay, so that covers all the paintwork, and the sculpt is really nice. Let's go ahead and look at the accessories. I'll pick up the one I dropped, and we will look at the swords or beam sabers first. We have the two straight ones. One has a very sharp tip. Get out of here. One has a very sharp tip, and one has a rounded tip. I'm told that that actually is because he's had different renditions of this in the games. I'm not sure. I've never played the game with him in it other than Marvel vs. Capcom. So I can't say for sure, but this one actually looks better. It has a little more purple on it. But either one, you're going to be just fine with. I don't know if it's just a chance as far as the shading goes, but this one has two large spots of white, whereas this one has two tiny spots of white or unpainted area. So either way, they look really cool. They have like a kind of a silver airbrush to them, so they do look pearlescent also. The handles are this really nice copper color, super metallic looking. I love that. And then the pommels are also the nice silver and black from the figure. The handles, or the bottom, the pommel should pop off. It does, and that will help you get it into his hand, because the hands are still super tight. I don't know why they didn't retool anything. Well, I do know. It's a lot cheaper, and it was acceptable before, but the hands are super tight, so you might want to warm these up just a little bit to get the sword in there without risking scratching anything. But as you can see, it's a really nice piece. All the metallic and the nice shading parts really go well with the pearlescent hand. Something else I'd like to point out about the swords, if I can get this piece back on here, is that the beams themselves come off, and he's got a slot in his back, or a peg hole in his back, so that you can put the handle of his sword in there. I didn't push it in all the way, but it does go in there. We'll just set it in place for now, but it does peg in all the way. I don't know why it's not going in right now. Well, what the heck? What the heck, right? Let's try it. There we go. It snaps in nicely. And so that is good for some posing if you want it. Like, you could put his hand back with the open hand, like he's grabbing at it, you know, like that. The only problem is it gets in the way of the hair a little bit, but, you know, what are you going to do? There's something there. There's going to be something there. Alright, so let's put that back together. So we have those two straight swords, and then we have the slashing sword. Same exact sculpt as before, but oh my goodness, it looks awesome with the silver airbrushing shading going up from this side and the dark purple coming this way. It's just a really, really nice effect. I don't know how well you can tell. It's really translucent when you're looking at it straight on. I think you can probably see it in the camera, but as soon as you let the light hit it, you can barely see through it at all. So that's a really cool effect due to that metallic shading. And I think this pommel, yeah, they all come off. This one's a little bit longer here to support the sword, but they should all be the same other than that. So that's pretty cool. It's a really nice effect. So I already pointed out that he has these hands, but he does have one for either side, so he can hold the sword either way or give a thumbs up. He does have a fist hand for either side, and then he has two open hands for posing or whatever you want to do. And they all have that really nice pearlescent paint, and they're all sculpted well. So he's got a total of 6 hands, 3 swords, the buster that goes on either side, the hand or the forearm that can replace that, and then he has the 2 buster fronts, and lastly he has a total of 4 faces, not 3, unlike the original Type 2. So he's got the standard stern face right there, nothing too special about that. He has the looking up to the corner, gritting my teeth face. That's the official name, by the way. And he has the looking to the other corner with my mouth open, ready to take a bite of a sandwich face. Again, that is the official name. And then he has the new face for the Type 2, or the Zero, Black Zero. It's already the Type 2. And this is based on, I believe, the manga. I'm not 100% sure, and I didn't look it up, because I'm sure you guys who are familiar with this already know, and if you're not familiar, you don't care. But either way, this is the face. I have to say, it looks funny to me. The really wide set eyes, I know that's pretty accurate because I have seen pictures of it, but they look like they're just a little bit too wide. The detail is nicely done. You can see all the different shading in the actual iris, and then the lines for the brow and everything. They look good. It just looks a little weird to me, and that might just be because I'm not too familiar with it, but we'll go ahead and put it on so you can have a look at what it actually looks like on the figure. Now, the best way to pop the head apart, I found, is to get your thumbnail underneath the front part right here, this peak. Oh, by the way, there's a blue gem in the head that looks really nice. So you get your thumbnail under that and then lift up, and it should come out fairly easily like that. Then you just slide the face forward, 2 pegs that slide into the back like that. So you slide that forward, swap it out, get in there, and then put this one back on. So that's what it looks like. So again, I think it's fairly accurate, but it looks like the eyes are just too wide still, and it just looks off to me. So I'll probably display them with that just because it's unique for this version, but I have to say it's not my favorite. I really love the detail in the eye itself. It just doesn't look quite right to me. Alright, so lastly, let's talk about the articulation, and then we will call it a wrap. And to do that, I'm going to actually pop this off so you can see this again, even though you should have seen it in the original review. Again, if you haven't, you probably should check that out. The ponytail is on a joint that is part of this ball hinge. So it can peg up and down, or peg. It can hinge up and down, and there's a slot in the helmet for that so that the head can move independently of the ponytail. But the angle of the ponytail's connection and the limited range of motion don't really accomplish much. It goes from that, and even still it's more like that, to down lower. So it's really, really useless. And then the part where it connects to the actual ponytail on this end of the peg is just a swivel. So again, it's really just the only posability for the ponytail that's practical is moving it from side to side. That's really it, and it's still really heavy because it's solid plastic. It's really not effective, and it bothers me because I was really hoping that they'd have fixed it, but they didn't. Okay, but that does also show you the head articulation. It's on a ball hinge on top of the neck, so it can lean all the way forward and all the way back and spin around, and the neck is on a ball peg. So that covers that. Let's put the head back on. There we go. And now the shoulders. Now the original Type 2, the shoulders popped out really easily. I haven't had them pop out once on me yet, so we'll see if they do during the review, but so far that seems to be fixed. So there's just a standard ball peg and socket for the actual shoulder itself. This part, the shoulder pad, is just, it's not really even on a hinge. Well, I guess it is. We'll say it's on a hinge, but it doesn't have that much range of motion aside from going wherever the shoulder goes because of the boxiness. You get a little bit out of it, but it's really not too useful. It's okay. But you can see it does kind of peg down into there, and that's where it has the hinge. But then the shoulder is a ball hinge itself, so you can do that, which is really nice. Between the silver and the black is a bicep swivel. These do pop off fairly easily, which I guess is good since you can swap them out, but it also is kind of irritating when you're trying to pose the figure. I still don't know why they went with those square pegs. It's really frustrating for me because they don't hold very well. But here you can see while it's off what the elbow is like. It's a double hinged elbow, so it bends at the top and at the bottom, and then you have this sleeve for hiding the joint, so that's pretty cool. And then, like I said, that's the top hinge, and then the bottom hinge is this part where it actually connects right there. So it's a double jointed elbow with really good range of motion. You can see you can get the arm way better than 90 degrees, so that's nice. Okay, the torso is on, I believe the top one is a double ball peg, like a barbell, and then the bottom one down here for the gray part is a single ball peg, but I haven't ever taken it apart, so I can't say for sure, but you will get pretty much any range of motion out of it that you want to. Swivels, crunches, everything you want, and it always looks good. So that's really nicely done. The hips are, I believe it's a ball peg that goes into the crotch, and then one that goes into the leg, and then this part is just like a little cup, a cap sleeve type of thing. I remember it being looser on the other one, but that might just be me. But either way, you get a little bit limited. It gets a little bit limited when you're trying to bring the leg all the way forward or all the way back, but it is relatively effective, so that's okay. And that silver part does hide the joint for the most part. There is a swivel built in. I don't know why they did that. It would have been just as effective without it, so don't worry about it. Just know that you can swivel the thigh. That's all you need, really. Double jointed knee, it works just like the elbow, and these do pop off. They are all interchangeable. just like all the other Mega Man figures, and they actually interchange with each other from figure to figure. So like I said, that's basically the exact same thing as the elbow, just a little bit bigger. The legs don't pop off quite as easily as the arms, so that's pretty good. Okay, and then the ankles, it's a ball hinge connected to a ball peg. So there's a ball hinge down here in the foot, and then it's a ball peg where it connects into the actual ankle. So that's just a standard socket, and then it swivels at the foot at the end of the ball hinge. And the ball hinge itself is, as you can see, just a ball hinge. So you can really, even though these feet are gigantic, which is normal for Mega Man, they go all over the place. And the cool thing is the way it's built. See the way it kind of connects into there for going forward, is it lets you kind of tuck the feet around so that they don't have a huge gap in the ankle once you get it posed. It's going to be hard for me to get that back. And I probably shouldn't have pulled it out just to show you guys, but that's what I do for my viewers. I'll fix it off camera, that's fine. So there it is, guys. There's the Black Zero figure. It is really good. I like that they fixed the shoulders from popping out, but I wish they would have fixed a few more of the issues that the original figure had. I do recommend it. It's still awesome and looks great, and it doesn't cost $150 like the Type 2 does on eBay. So thanks for watching, guys. Pick this figure up if you can, and in the meantime, stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff, and keep collecting.